Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 2 of our Wealth Creator Challenge. As you're coming in, we're so happy to have you. This community we talked about yesterday, friends, we want to encourage you to find a friend in this community. Whether it's your first time, whether you are new to our community, maybe you're a guest of one of our brilliant speakers. We have my new friend, Michael Whitehouse, who's going to be sharing his genius with us. This guy knows a guy who knows a guy. He knows lots of guys, and he's going to share his brilliance. He's going to share with us 5 tips that will help you be a brilliant networker. Anyone raise of hands for those of you that could learn a few things when it comes to making new friends and being networking. It's not a skill that we were all blessed with when we were born, right? Actually, I take that back. Babies, toddlers, they're really good about networking, right? They just get in, they share or don't share their toys, they collaborate. Somehow what happens as we get older, we get this fear of rejection, this approval addiction that we like to talk about in our community, and somehow those natural skills somehow leave us. So we're gonna get a lesson from Michael about how to just foster those skills. So friends, we're so happy you joined us. Couple housekeeping things. I want to just remind you we're here for the next 4 days. It's always going to be at 12 noon. The corporate girl in me likes to start and end on time. So we will be doing that. If you can't make it live, make sure you hit the recordings. Every day builds on itself. Yesterday, we learned from our friend Jennifer about some of the things that she was doing in her life that was different from 12 months ago when she had that crazy accident with Jim. Friends, we have daily prizes that we're giving away every day. So make sure you put your name in the chat, your first and last name. We're going to enter you in our drawing. Now, you do have to be present to win. And yesterday we did forget to draw. So we're going to have 2 winners today of our Amazon gift card. Every day that you're here with us, you're also going to be entered to win our grand prize of $100 at the end of the week. I want to encourage you also, put your contact details in the chat. If you are maybe new to this room and you don't have people in your life that talk about these kinds of things, talk about raising your financial IQ, talk about bettering your life financially, you're probably surrounded by people that just aren't thinking along the same lines as you. But guess what? You get to create new relationships. We believe that there's people in our lives that are here for a reason always. Sometimes it's for a season. Sometimes it's for a purpose. Sometimes it's for a lifetime. And if you said yes to this workshop, you're probably looking for a couple of things. One is you're seeking your own wisdom in your finances. We like to believe that we are seeking God's wisdom in our finances. You also might be looking to learn ways to increase your cash flow. We talked yesterday about Dave Ramsey, one of my mentors earlier in life. I was a single mama. I had this 3-month-old and a 3-year-old, and I was always good at making money, but I really had no idea what to do with it because my husband was in charge of our finances. And I went to class at church called Financial Peace University, and it really started the fundamental ideas around that I was a wealth creator. That's one of the reasons that we call this workshop, I Am a Wealth Creator, because I believe that you are God's very best idea. I believe that you have wisdom within you. I also believe that most of us are not necessarily using that wisdom to our fullest capacity. And we believe thinking along the lines of seeking God's wisdom in your finances helps you get in partnership with that wisdom within you and the wisdom from above. So friends, if you have your current community, maybe it's not thinking along the same lines, make a friend in this community. I challenge you to put your contact details in the chat. How do you serve your community today? Reach out to someone new, learn about someone new today. And I want to also encourage you, every single one of our guest speakers is offering a really lovely gift to learn about for their community. Take advantage of those free offers. One of the things that we teach our Wealth Creator students is that if you actually took action on the offers that were given to you and all these wonderful free online workshops that you say yes to, your finances would be entirely different 12 months from now. So I challenge you, friends, don't just be a professional meeting attender here. Make sure that you also take action on these things that we're blessing you with, okay? I'm going to share a little clip. You know how I like my videos, and I want to invite you, as you're watching this, to think about, is this me? Has this been me? Do I know people like this? And I also want you to think about right now, if you're saying yes to that, how can you change your situation? Okay. So for you Saturday Night Live fans, got a little humor. Friends, you get the point. Has anyone ever bought something that they can't afford? We should all have our hands raised, okay? Jen's shaking her head no. And I'm telling you, friends, if we have not mastered this skill set, which by the way, I'm a work in progress as well, it's going to be really tricky for us to pass this on to our next generation. Would you agree? We get to share these concepts. That's one of the big missions here in our community is raising up the next generation that's better than us, that's smarter than us about these things. It doesn't make the same silly mistakes that we have. You know, I personally at one point was 70,000 in credit card debt. This was while I was making 400,000 a year. Just because somebody makes good money does not mean they have good habits, right? What happened then? My income was cut in half. I lost one client in corporate America, and all of a sudden income cut in half. But guess what I kept doing? I kept spending like I was still making the same amount. And I got myself in trouble. And I want to tell you, you know, if this is you, if this resonates with you, you might be in debt right now. You might be up to your eyebrows and not sure where to put the next payment, right? You are not alone. This is such a big part of the country, and it's why we're so passionate about helping ourselves first. I was able to relieve that debt burden. I was able to build wealth, and we're so passionate about helping others find that relief from their debt burden. We're going to share with you a couple of ways that you're going to be able to not only relieve your debt if this is you, but also help others do that. Help spread the good news of how they can find relief, and actually put an income stream in your own pocket at the same time. I want to share with you, you know, yesterday we talked about our Better Life platform. We learned about, you know, the concept of affiliate marketing, and it's very, very simple. You know people that I don't know, and we pay very well for those referrals. If you're new to the space of financial coaching and the financial industry, it, by the way, is the highest paid industry in the world. Outside of, by the way, professional sports and entertainment, I've kind of given up my music career, although I definitely still have a desire at some point to be on the stage. I still have this vision. Anybody else have a funny vision of being on the stage somewhere and sharing your genius? But I will tell you what I know to be true is that the more of us that develop these skills within us, we are going to be able to create this ripple effect. If you're already coaches, which many of you are, I will tell you, I will ask you really, how many times does money come up as an issue with the people that you are serving, right? Almost every single person I talk to, that comes up. And I find that to be true for all coaches. So, the better platform, I'll just remind you, is simply a plug and play platform. It's been created for us by this world of financial services that many of us come from, with the sole purpose to provide meaningful solutions for the consumer. We have health insurance solutions, we have tech solutions, we have tax solutions. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the debt solutions. And the brilliant part of this platform is that it was created specifically because after 30 years in the financial industry, of sitting down with families, kneecap to kneecap, helping them go through their finances. What we realized is that most of the families that we were serving, it wasn't a spending problem, it was an earning problem. Does that resonate with anyone? How many people do you know that just by simply adding $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month, it would completely change their lives? We believe 90% of people should have a job, should be employees. Michael, the entrepreneurial world is not for the faint of heart, right? It is definitely not. But doesn't it make sense that every family should have more than one income stream? That they have a way that they can create their own economy that is not reliant on the government, that's not reliant on, God forbid, the next crisis. We know there's going to be another crisis down the road. Imagine when COVID hit, if every family had a way to earn money from home, right? To do it from their computer, and to do it in a way that was authentic, that was true to them, that they started by first fixing their own problems. So all of us, let's just agree, raise of hands, we all have some holes in our financial boat that we could fill. Would we all agree with that? Let's be honest, okay? So let's help you fill some of those boats. Yesterday we talked about which cash flow quadrant are you in, right? That's one of the first steps, is which one are you in? Are you in the right one? Are you on the left side where you're constantly going to be trading your time for money? Or are you moving your way to the right side where you're working with a system that has unlimited system-driven income, and it keeps going while you stop wherever you are? How did you choose your career? This is a big one. I find, in 30 years of recruiting, I found I would ask people, how did you choose how you are serving in your life? How did you choose? And so many of us, put in the chat, I want to know, how did you choose what you do for a living? If you're like me, I was told, go to school, get a good job, things will work out. That's what I hear from 90% of the people. And I find that a lot of people have stopped learning. They've stopped growing. That's why there's so many brave people like you that are stepping into something new. They've decided, you know what, I am going to say yes, what we like to call our kingdom calling, our kingdom assignment, as one of our mentors, Pedro, talks about. Now the question is, once you've said yes to your kingdom assignment, how are you rising in authority? How are you helping others rise in authority? And you do that by surrounding yourself with people that know more than you, by reading books that teach you. We talk about in our community, we are changed most by the books that we read and the people that we meet and we surround ourselves with. By the way, if you do not have one of the best books on the planet, I think the best book, if you don't have a Bible, can you please put your address in the chat and your name, and I will make sure you get one. One of the things that we love to teach people is how to do better with the money that you already have. So today we're going to give you a couple lessons about how you can do that. So the first thing, I want to take you through an exercise and share with you a couple mistakes that a lot of people are making in the traditional ways for building wealth. First of all, they don't know where they're going. Has anyone ever heard of this phrase, financial independence number? We've heard it called the freedom number. Everyone has one. It's simply this pile of money that someone needs in order to retire. Monique knows about this. She's gone through this process with us, friends. And it's, by the way, retire, I personally am not a huge fan of that word. Why would you ever stop serving in your kingdom assignment? But guess what? The way that we serve changes. At some point, I pray for all of you that right now you may be in the time where you're working for money, you're trading your dollars for money. At some point, would you agree? Everyone wants to, at some point, meet a time in their life where they're not working as much, right? Their money's working for them. And that only happens if they've persevered, if they've been persistent and consistent with how they're treating their money, right? At some point, we're not going to be here. And if you have people in your life that you want to leave something to, there's a legacy that picks up that flag, right? Takes on what you've created and continues. So the question is, how are you doing? First of all, do you know what your FIN number is? How likely is it, my friends, that you achieve that number if, first of all, you don't know what it is? Okay, very, very simple way to achieve it. The most rudimentary way is figuring out what your income is, what your expenses are, and the general rule is to times it by 20. That's what all financial advisors would tell you. By the way, I'm not an advisor. I always tell people I'm a coach. I am a licensed professional. I have lots of products and services that I can and do help my clients with. However, it's up to us to understand where we're going. Now, our coaches sit down with our students. We help you go through that process, and we also help you stay accountable to how you get there. So once you identify that number, how can you do better with what you have? By the way, most people, average FIN number in America is about 2 to 3 million. The goal is once you hit that number, you're never going to run out. You're going to be able to sustain what you've continued to build. Now, what's interesting in the worldly ways of wealth building, typical financial advisor, I had 2 of them, by the way. I paid a lot of money to work with them. By the way, they never taught me anything different. They were both about the same. And they also didn't stop me from losing $300,000 in 2008 in my $1 million portfolio at that time, right? It took me several years to build that back up. And they also never really taught me anything different. The traditional model is you build up this big FIN number, and then by the time you leave this earth, it's gone, right? It's left because you've used it. Now, is that really the kingdom way when you think about it? Shouldn't we get to continue to build? Shouldn't that wealth continue to grow so that the next generation has a higher benchmark that they're starting from, that we're giving them wisdom? I did a podcast or a summit about 4 years ago. It was called Corporate to Entrepreneur. And one of the questions that I asked my speakers was, if you couldn't leave your next generation any money, any monetary money, but you wanted to pass on wisdom about how to build wealth in their lives, what would you tell them? And every single one of the people that talked about this, they had different answers, but I will tell you one of the most common ones was always be in a room where you're not the smartest person. Always be looking for wisdom that is a gap that you have in your life, right? And just imagine a world where every high school graduate actually knew about these concepts, knew what it took to retire, knew what it took to that had the belief that they could create their own economy, right? That were instilled with really good money habits and things like that. I want to invite you to consider what an amazing world we could live in if families weren't struggling. If they learned something called the rule of 72, for example. It was discovered by Einstein many, many years ago, someone way smarter than all of us. Raise of hands for those of you that have heard of the rule of 72. by chance? Now the question is, I'm glad you recognize it. Now the question is, are you implementing it in your life? Right? The rule of 72 is very basic. It's you take the number 72 and you divide it by the interest rate that you're getting in whatever that investment is. And that's how long it takes to double your money. This is a good visual for you if you want to take a screenshot on that. Now I challenge you, this is one of your pieces of homework this week, is how are you doing in your own life with implementing this strategy? Take a look at, for example, where are you saving? Where's your savings account? What is your retirement account look like? If it was like mine, right, in 2008, it was going up and it was going down, and then it went down, 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 down. Remember a time when you just were afraid to open those statements during that 2008 crash? Vicki remembers. Now, my friends, I want to invite you to think about something. Since 2008, the market has only gone up, except for a couple blips. There was one in 2019. There was another in 2022. It's only gone up. So my question to you is, do you think there possibly is something coming? Possibly something coming. Now, sometimes the best way that you can help someone build wealth is just make sure they don't lose what they have. They already have, right? So it's one of the things we're so passionate about. We teach the rules that Warren Buffett teaches when it comes to money. He has 2 rules with money. Rule number 1 is never lose your money. And then rule number 2 is, don't forget rule number 1. Make sure you continue to foster these habits. Now, you look at this example of someone that if they put $10,000 in an account and they're getting different rates of return. On the left side, the bank was having a sale. They're giving them 1%. You can do the math. It takes them 72 years. By age 101, they have $20,000 versus the investor on the right who was getting 10%. They had 640,000 by age 72, right? So isn't it interesting, friends? All we do is we help our clients, we help our students take their money to the same places the banks do. Because, my friends, where are the banks putting our money? Does anyone know Vicki, where do banks put our money, by the way? You want to unmute yourself and tell us?
I personally think the stock market.
Yeah, they do that. Absolutely. Any other ideas? Anybody? Would you be surprised to know? First of all,
insurance.
Monique is absolutely right. Both of you are right. Would you be surprised to know that the place where they have the most assets, though, is exactly what Monique said, is in insurance products. Isn't that interesting? Right? Why is that? Why do you think that is? Two main reasons. Are we all for sure going to die at some point? Is that like the surest bet you can make? Coupled with the fact that death benefits and also cash that's accumulated within life insurance, it's tax-free. Talk about a loophole, right? Talk about a wealthy loophole that anyone could do, anyone can implement. But you're right, the banks, not only do they reuse our money, they use it over and over and over again. They do what's called a sweep every night, and they take our money and they buy life insurance products. They put it in the stock market. They put it in very speculative investments, real estate, oil and gas, commodities, Bitcoin, right? They're doing it everywhere. And what do they give us? If you're at a Wells Fargo or a Chase or a Bank of America, like I was forever, a 0.01% whopping return on your money. Okay, so we're giving you cash flow tips every single day. I want you to take a screenshot of this. Did you know right now that there are high yield savings accounts that are giving you 4 to 6%? I personally use a company called SoFi. if you scan this QR code and you open something, they'll give you some type of referral. I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's 25. I've seen it as high as $325 for every person that opens an account. You know, they are a perfect example, SoFi, of affiliate marketing. You know, what they do is they don't have the bricks and mortar, big expensive buildings that Wells Fargo has. They have an online presence, which, by the way, when's the last time you actually went to the bank? It's very rare. You're usually going to an ATM. You know, you might go to the bank, but you usually drive through the drive-through and go to the ATM, right? Is there really a need for the expense of these big bricks and mortar companies? Because, friends, you could do a lot better with your money by simply moving online. You know, so take that cash flow tip, take action in your own life. Don't trust me if you don't want to. You just Google high yield savings account and search and find one that suits you, right? This is the one that we refer for people to. Now, the second question I want to ask you today is, do you have a spending problem, or is it an earning problem, or is it a combination of both? Okay. This is the typical kind of pie scenario we see in most people, right? Let me give you an example. Most people, we find that there's usually about 50% of their income going towards basic living expenses. There's usually about a quarter on taxes and about a quarter on debt. And the question is, who are you paying first? Okay. What we find is that most people, picture yourself, you know, sitting in your home, and there's a long line of people out your front door. And the first person is your mortgage, and then your car payment, and then your phone bill, right? And the very last person, it might be number 15 or 16, is usually your wealth bill, your savings, your retirement, college fund, things like that. The very, very simple thing that the wealthy do so well is they always pay that person first. Now, in our community, what we also do and encourage our friends to do is also inquire with your Heavenly Father before any spending. And I will tell you, this really only came present to our community within the last year, quite honestly. I am great at spending. I'm good at making money. I'm really good at spending too. And I haven't always consulted God in my finances, right? And I want to ask you to think about, when's the last time you sat down with someone and a year from now, they're in the exact same position that they were. This is one of the most common things I see in coaches. I personally spent $250,000 in what I thought I needed in terms of masterminds and packages and this email campaign and that workshop, and and I'm telling you, friends, I wish I would have been seeking God's wisdom in every single little bill that I had going out, every purchase that I made, because quite frankly, I'd be, there'd be a lot more right now, right, in the wealth bucket. So I want to encourage you, if this is a new concept for you, use this community as an accountability buddy. Before making a major purchase, I am not saying that these programs are bad. I'm just saying, if you're like me, oftentimes you're buying these, first of all, out of sequence. You don't really need them yet, right? And if you actually took advantage of the free offers that have already been made available to you, like the one Michael's going to share with us, you actually would be a lot farther ahead in your financial journey. So I encourage you, if you haven't yet implemented that hedge of protection around your finances, that in every choice you make, there is no bill small enough for God to care about for you. And he really will provide you the wisdom. We talk about, in our partnership with Pedro, how important it is that we are taking very good care of what we've already been given before we're given more, right? Before we're entrusted with more. So I just encourage you to, your homework tonight, you're actually going to get a little, laundry list of, first of all, do you know where your money's going right now? Do you know where every subscription is? What the dollars are going out. This is an exercise my husband and I do with ourselves once a month at least. And we always find missing money that we didn't know that we were spending, subscriptions that we signed up for a year ago. And now all of a sudden, what's this annual charge of $900, right? Different things like that. Imagine what you can do for yourself just by being more vigilant with what you're bringing in, right? So I want to encourage you to take that exercise to heart. I want to also share with you a little bit about one of the first things we're going to share on our platform today, which is about the debt crisis in our country. So raise of hands for those of you that know someone or are someone that is in debt right now. 2 hands raised for, I know so many people in debt. I know a lot of teachers in debt. I know a lot of nurses in debt, social workers in debt, doctors, pharmacists. I speak with friends every single week that are in debt. A big part of debt right now is the student loan debt crisis. We're in now it's risen at $13 trillion in student loan debt. And I want to just invite you to make sure you understand what's available to our friends and how they can actually find relief from their debt. Through the Prosperity Financial platform, which is one of your companies that you're empowered to refer to on our debt platform. There's so many funny things you can post online. This is one of my favorites. There's things that if you just Google student loan forgiveness memes, there's so many crazy ones that come up. And I want to encourage you to take action on this. First of all, by now you should all have your Better Life Link referral, program. If you gave us your first and last name, you have your link. Now, it's interesting. when I first became an affiliate with Better, I was overwhelmed by the emails I was getting. Okay. So just a insider tip I want to tell you. If you're serious about creating an economy with the Better Life platform, okay, people that have debt, people that need health insurance, that needs tax credits, that have tech solutions they want to implement. And I'm telling you, the solutions, they keep getting better and better and better. We are disruptors in every industry that we've chosen to put on the Better Life platform. Okay. This is going to be $1 billion company. I see it happening. We already bought a big building in Atlanta. We've paid millions and millions of dollars already in commissions to our affiliate partners, and we've only been launched for 1.5 years. So friends, if you haven't yet really made a decision to say yes to this assignment, I invite you to do that. And with that, I invite you to take ownership of how you're going to do it. Now, this workshop is meant to just give you an introduction about what this platform can provide, along with helping you get smarter, just simply smarter about money. But as you're getting these emails, first of all, I just invite you to just know that they are there for your benefit. But it's up to you how you're going to execute, right? I encourage people, pick a solution to start with. I meet people where they're at right now, which is a lot of debt in our country. So I personally use the debt forgiveness programs a lot. I also know a lot of entrepreneurs that if they're making good money, especially, they are paying an arm and a leg for health insurance tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit about the health insurance program that Better offers as well. You know, there's so many solutions that you could decide to share with people, but pick one. That's my challenge to you, is first of all, pick one. And then at the same time, share the good news of what the platform is doing, right? If you know people that increase of cash flow is one of their goals in their business practice, let them know about this platform because it's free to join. All you got to do is share the good news. Don't be a silent agent, okay? So friends, I'm really excited right now. One of the things that, I met Michael actually through a networking group that we're both part of. It's called JVMM. We both paid to be part of it, right, Michael? This great group that we're blessed to be part of. He and I were talking, was it Sunday? And we were talking about how actually both of us need to do a little bit better at showing up to this place that we paid to join, right? And create those relationships. But Michael, you have a really cool story of trying different things, having this gift of connection of people in your community. You've now been able to create this business around connection. And I want to invite you to share some of your, share some of your skills and knowledge with us, but with the lens of, okay, now I have this calling I've said yes to, this business development opportunity that I've said yes to. And I would love, for you to share a little bit about, if this is a new idea for some people, how you would first start it, and start it in the best way possible versus winging it and doing it how we think we should do it. Does that make sense?
I wing most of what I do, so
Don't we all?
yeah. Following the spirit and winging it look very similar. And honestly, the way I ended up where I am doing what I'm doing is because I finally realized that most of the advice I was getting was bad, and that I'm going to stop following it. And so I'm 44. I was 40 in 2020. And that means I'd spent about 20 years trying to follow other people's paths and trying to fit into other people's boxes and trying to do it other people's ways. And I was broke and in debt and struggling. And I like to say that I had a high credit score, 420. So now my credit score, I think, is 732 last time I checked, which is not bad. And because in 2020, when everything shifted, I mean, I was an entrepreneur basically my whole life. So I was used to pivoting and adapting. But when 2020 hit and I started moving online, I said, all right, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to try it my way, because I tried it everyone else's way. And I'm broke and struggling and miserable. And if I'm really broke and struggling and miserable, I might as well be broke and struggling and miserable. Well, might as well be broke and struggling and happy, because I'm doing it my way. You know, if it's not going to work, I might as well not work it my way. And crazy thing happened when I started doing it my way. And it's not just my way, it's the way that aligns with what I'm meant to do. When I started doing it in an aligned way, in what felt comfortable, I got into networking because I don't like cold calling. I got into networking because I don't like a lot of the business development methods that are recommended. And I said, I don't want a cold call. I'd much rather go to an event with some nice hors d'oeuvres and some wine and talk to people and have nice conversations. And then my call to them is a follow-up call or a meeting that was set there, and go from there, or an introduction or a referral. That sounds a lot more fun than calling up strangers and getting yelled at and hung up on and all the rest. So I learned how to network and found that it worked. Well, I mean, I did about $450,000 in sales in 2.5 years, so I think I did okay with it. And and then when I came online, I fully just dove in and said, I'm just going to do it my way, start my own business, figure out what opportunity presents itself. And sometimes it's gone well, and sometimes it's gone educationally. But either way, it's been following my path. So I've never felt like, I think there's an opportunity, I can't follow it because I got to follow someone else's script. So Yeah. So it's
I
not,
love that.
yeah.
I love that. And I have, you've done both, you've done well in two areas that my observance is. One is your own path that
Mhm.
you mentioned. You naturally are a connector. You were doing it anyway. And you realize that's a gift that not everyone has. And so you created a business around that. But you also have done a really great job leveraging other platforms that have been built that are in alignment with you. So talk about that a little bit about, maybe not needing to be the one wearing all the hats, maybe being able to step into an environment where you get to now implement what's already been created by someone else.
Yeah. So there is no such thing as a self-made man or self-made woman. First off, you're
Right.
not self-made. Your mother made you. And then you didn't educate yourself. You didn't raise yourself. You didn't feed yourself. You don't provide yourself medical care. You don't, even if you're self-educated, well, you went to a library or a bookstore and you read a book written by someone else. You took a class by someone else. So the richer people get, the more people they're working with. Billionaires just have thousands or hundreds of thousands of people working with them. And even solopreneurs who work on their own we don't work on our own. We have virtual assistants, we have partners, we have joint venture partners. We have, ChatGPT didn't write itself. Zoom doesn't run itself. It's not like somebody opened up a box and was like, oh, look, video conferencing software. Let's install that on the internet and give it to everyone. There's people behind all this. And so success comes from leveraging connections to other people and with other people. And whether that is leveraging people, relationships with other people, mutually beneficial relationships, to be clear, with other people, or leveraging other people's products or other companies' products or other companies' tools and resources. You bring what you're uniquely good at to it, and then bring that together with what others, and that's where the real value comes and the real success comes from. And the other thing that's crucial is to accept that you can. There's plenty of wrong ways to do it, but the way that feels natural to do it, the way that feels aligned to do it, may be right, even if the experts say you shouldn't. I was very gratified yesterday. I was on a call with JBMM where we met, and one of the people there, he's launching a program for practitioners because every coach is being told, don't trade your time for money. Build a group program, build a course, build an evergreen. And so you got people who they just want to get on a call and use their coaching skills and their empathy and teach and guide and make $200 an hour. And by the way, if you make $200 an hour, 10 hours a week, you make $100,000 a year. So they just want to, work with people, and every expert's telling them, oh, you can't do that. That's not where the real money is. You'll be working whatever. His program is entirely for people like that who just want to help. They don't want to build funnels. They just want to help people. And if that's what you want to do, that's great. If that's not what you want to do, don't do that. Find ways to leverage your time and your network and your resources. Figure out what you're really good at, what you're naturally meant to do, and do that. Don't do something else. If God put you on earth to be a farmer, don't go out and get a boat and go fishing. You're meant to be a farmer. If God has a plan, then and that's, I actually recently gave a speech about this. I'm in Toastmasters and happened to win a Toastmasters speech contest, because when you win a contest, you got to drop that in anything you're doing. And the topic of it was, the topic of it is about the idea of who am I to? People are like, oh, who am I to be a coach? Who am I to share my knowledge? Who am I to help people make money? Who am I to whatever? And if God put you here to do something, who are you to question that?
Mm-hmm.
If all the signs are pointing that you should be sharing this, you should be teaching this, you should be guiding people in this way, and that is clearly where the Spirit is leading you, and you say, well, who am I to try to coach people like that? what you're saying when you say that is, hey, God, I know you're the creator of the universe and you are timeless and of infinite knowledge, wisdom, and love, but I think you made a mistake on this one. Which might be sort of an odd thing to say when you put it in that frame, but that is exactly what imposter syndrome is. It's saying you think God made a mistake when he put you where you are. And I like to think that God doesn't make a lot of mistakes. So
No
if he put me
mistakes.
here,
Yeah,
where I'm supposed to be.
absolutely. I love that because I agree with you. I think there's so many of us that say we trust, and yet we have we don't trust that his plan is good and that he did put us where we are for a purpose. You had shared with me there's 5 kind of steps that you use in your networking to make it the most profitable. So
These steps?
let's dive into that. I love that. So awesome to have the visual right there.
Yes, yes. So I run an event called JV Connect, which is the only dedicated multi-day virtual networking event that I have ever found, because most networking events that I've found have some other angle in them. They're a sales event, they're a speaking event, whatever. So I built that, and then I found that some people were coming in saying, okay, cool, but what do I do there? So this is what I, as a networker, want everyone to be doing when they're networking, because it makes my job easier as a networker. So the 5 steps are: first, clarify your goal. Know what you want. Second, identify who can complete the goal. Notice it does not say help complete the goal or get you towards your goal. Who can complete the goal? If your goal is to raise $100,000 to launch your business, then don't say, well, who can invest $5,000? No, who can invest $100,000? And if you miss that, then you might find someone who can do 50 or 25 or 10. But aim for the top. That's more exciting, because that gets to step 3, create your compelling vision. Goal is for you. So if I'm running an event and I say, well, my goal is that I want to sell 400 tickets, you don't care. Nobody else cares about your goal. I mean, maybe your spouse does. Maybe your friends will be like, oh, yeah, that's a great goal. Yeah, I hope you get. They don't care. They care that you're successful. They don't care about your goal. Your compelling vision, however, if my vision for the event is I'm going to create a new kind of networking event where people come out with more value than any other networking event in the world, and here's why, and it's more interactive and more fun and more profitable, and the way we do that is selling 400 tickets, then that's something you'll be like, ooh, oh, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I want to tell people about that. So your compelling vision is the version of your goal that other people care about. 4, prepare your tools. So if you're going to a virtual event, have an introduction, have a way to introduce yourself that is quick and efficient, and that you're not, trying to tell your life story and rambling on and putting people to sleep, but is quick. 3 sentences maximum should be your introduction on a virtual event, not 60 seconds. If you have 60 seconds, 20 seconds is who you are, and the other 40 seconds is an invitation to something you're doing. Because if you can't explain what you do in 20 seconds, you don't understand what you do. That's a whole different talk. And 5, always be moving the conversation forward. If you're in a virtual networking space, the next step is to get on a one-on-one call. If you're in a one-on-one call, the next step is to do whatever you're going to do. Make an introduction, set up a follow-up call to actually build the thing you're doing together, sign them up for the thing, whatever it is, know what the next step is. A conversation shouldn't end with, all right, well, it's great, we'll be in touch, unless you really have nothing to talk about. And in a virtual event, you should have a calendar link in step 4. I use Calendly. I'm a big fan because Calendly to have questions. You put questions in your Calendly link. So when someone books a call, you book a call with me, I'm going to ask you, if you could be magically introduced to one person in the world, who would it be? What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? What's your biggest frustration? What's your goal? Because from that, if you write those questions correctly, I can make 1 or 2 or 3 introductions before we meet. Because I've got what we need. We can do a 60-minute conversation in 25 minutes. Because the first 30 minutes of a 60-minute conversation are, so yeah, where did we meet again? Oh yeah, was it Lisa's event? No, I think it was Nancy's event. No, maybe it's Vicky's event. I don't know. Now we're 10 minutes in. and we're confused. No like and trust is on the floor because we can't remember where we met, let alone why we want to talk. Whereas you come in with those questions, right? Be like, oh, where did we meet? Oh, we met at JV Connect last week. And you said that you're looking to meet with podcasters, right? Yeah, I did. How'd you remember that? Because you put it in the questions. But, you sound like you're really, really connected. So, in those virtual spaces, you want to be setting that calendar link with someone you want to meet. Hey, here's my calendar. Book it. Let's talk. And, so you don't want to leave an event with 20 people to call. You want to leave an event with 20 appointments on your calendar. And in a live event, same thing. You pull out your life organizer device right here and you say, hey, we should talk. Do you have your calendar with you? Let's set up a time to meet. Don't say, let me get your number and I'll call you and we'll set up a time to meet. If you leave with 20 business cards and all of them said they want to meet with you, how many do you think you're going to have meetings with? 12? 10? 0? So, but if you actually put the calls on the calendar, you're probably going to meet with most of them. So you always want to move to the next step and as far forward as you can using that. So if you follow these 5 steps, the reason I came up with these is especially with that step 1, because if you meet a good networker, they're going to say, what are you here trying to do? What is your goal at this event? And or some other variation of that. Who are you here trying to meet? Who's your ideal referral? Who would you like to be introduced to? Something like that. That's all variations of what is your goal. And the number of times that someone has said to me, the guy who knows a guy, a professional connector, I don't know, I'm just looking to meet whoever's here. I'm just looking to see who's out here. And I just want to say, well, mission accomplished. Here they are. That's who's here. You can go home now. You're done. You've seen who's out here. You've done your scouting mission. Go home. I would like it better if someone said, I'm just here because the food's great and I like the wine. Great. That's honest. We have nothing to talk about, but we're done. Right. But, don't go to a networking event just to see who's there, because you never know who someone knows. So if you say, well, to be honest, I'm really trying to find someone who's willing to invest $100,000 in my business. I don't think they're in this room, but that's what I'm really looking for right now. And then I'd be like, oh, well, do you know Joe Schmo over there? He's a banker and he knows a lot of investors. Or do you know Susie Q? She's an attorney who works with startup businesses. She might know some investors, right? If you know what you're looking for, we can help you find it. And super connectors, that's how we keep score. Is what great connection to make. I can't introduce you, I'm just looking to see who's here. Cool. Donna, she's here. Meet her. Why? First one I saw when I pointed to the screen. You're just looking to meet someone, right? She's someone. Oh, go meet Monique. She's someone. Yeah. That's if you want to meet someone, she appears to be a human. Go meet her. Right? That's not necessarily what you want. You want to know what you want so we can help you.
So good. And Michael, you gave, not only are you sharing this example of what to do, you are living example as well. Sunday, I asked you who else you knew in our JVMM community, or who do you know that has these similar goals that we do in our community to empower women, raise their financial IQ, help them learn about investing differently. And you immediately referred me to Penelope and her team. Mm-hmm. And you know what I immediately saw in that introduction was not only that you do what you say you're going to do, but you do it with a lot of genuine thought. This referral was very, he really edified Penelope. He shared why he thought I should connect with her. And he and I haven't known one another long, but everything you said about her, I could tell that you would listen to me, Mm-hmm. So you think about, imagine, friends, just taking these simple skills. These are very simple skills, but they're also complex because there's a lot in between there, right, Michael, that you didn't say, that you don't have time to in 15 minutes, right? Yep. Because these are simple, but Michael is a very thoughtful in nature person that I could tell in the email that he sent to his friend. and who is going to be a guest for us. I'm meeting with Shannon next week, and I'm certain that we're gonna create some collaboration too,
Yeah, she'd be great here.
So
Well,
yeah.
and the key thing is coming from the right place, right energy. If you forget
Yeah.
all this, if you come from the right place of service, that
Yes.
you go into every interaction, because especially, who here consider themselves a giver? They want people to leave interactions better. All right. That's how you network. Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about your intro. Don't worry about, you should know your goal. But if you forget all this, don't worry about your intro. Don't worry about what to say and how to start whatever. Your goal is that every person you meet leaves better than you found them, because you made them an introduction, you gave them some information that was valuable, or you offered them something. And if you go into every conversation seeking a way to make their life better, you'll figure it out. If you go and try to take, they'll pull back. They'll feel that. They'll feel that you're those predatory vibes. But if you just come in and say, I'm going to make your life better, we're going to talk for the next 5 minutes this network event, your life's going to be better by the end of it. Somehow you'll figure it out. And then you go to make an introduction. What do I say when I'm introducing people? Well, why do you like them? Why should they meet? And please, for heaven's sake, do say why you're introducing people. Don't just say, hey, Nancy, you should meet Suzanne. She's great. Yeah.
Right.
We don't have time for that. You've got to say, like, here's why, here's what you should be talking about. Here's the purpose of the meeting. So that's
Yes.
a pro tip, extra for experts there. But yeah, just strive to leave everyone better than you met them. And if you do that, and then you also make clear what your business is, what you offer, whatever, you'll have people saying, how do I work with you? Because they'll feel that energy.
Absolutely. Thank you. This is so good, Michael. You have some events coming up yourself. You also were generous enough to offer a complimentary gift to our community. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you have going on?
Sure. And kind of both of those are in the same there. So I put the link in the chat for the free course, 5 steps,
Okay,
6-figure
super.
networking. It's kind of what I said, a bit more in depth. And so if people go there, then they will get access to that. And then from there, they can also, actually, Lisa, I believe you have a link for JV Connect, right?
Yeah, I think is that what you added to the portal, or is it that one? I'm not sure if I know
I
what
don't
you
know.
mean.
But
Okay.
yeah, so there's a link. There's a link that
Add
Lisa
the
gets credit
JV
for.
Connect as well, just
Yep.
in case we don't have it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah, and so if you go to jvconnect.com, there we go. Just go to jvconnect.com. The next one is June 25th and 26th, and it is the most fun, profitable, and effective networking event you will ever attend. And since
I'm excited. I'm gonna try and join that one. I was traveling the last one you had, so
yep, and I
thank
do it
you
quarterly.
so much.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. So put my email address there, so anyone wants to reach out to me, you can get there. And also if you sign up for the course, then that will get you emails from me as well, and reply to any of those. Those all come. I don't believe in the no reply emails. Any email that comes out of my system you can reply to, go straight to my inbox.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Michael, thank you so much for sharing your gift with us. And friends, I just want to encourage you, take Michael up on his free offers. Friends, every one of our speakers, they are sharing their genius with you, and we're finding their gifts. It's so fun to be able to share with others what you are so gifted at. So thank you, Michael, so much for sharing your genius with us. You are truly a blessing.
All right, thank you.
Friends, we are not gonna leave today. We're already running a little late, but Donis, we are not going to leave without our giveaways today. I'm going to pin you, and let's bring up the wheel of fortune, the wheel of blessings. We're going to pick 2 winners today. Because we didn't get one yesterday. So we're going to make sure we get 2. All righty. Is it Miss Monique? Monique, you are our winner. Let's do one more before we wrap for the day. We're running a little over schedule, which the corporate girl in me does not like to be overtime. And we have, is it Patrick or Jen? Patrick, congratulations. So friends, if you are new to our community, make sure, Patrick and Monique, that we have your contact details in the chat. Patrick M. And I'm going to need your last name, sir. So please make sure you put that in the chat. You are the lucky winners of our Amazon gift card for the first couple of days. Friends, you'll be getting your homework in the email. Make sure you check that out. Get clear where your money's going. Make sure you get your Better Life link if you haven't already. Understand how to refer people. If you know people with student loan debt or credit card debt, take that option on what you learned today and help them. Help give the blessing of debt relief to people. So friends, we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Blessings, everybody, in this amazing life journey, and we'll see you tomorrow.